Hello class, today we're going to be talking about the rules of logarithms. So the rules of logarithms, it's just a bunch of rules saying that if you have this then it's also equal to this, or if you have this it's also equal to this. It's not really, we're not solving for anything with these rules or anything, we're just making equivalencies here, okay? So we have 7 rules here that I want to talk about. And the first rule, the product rule, states that if we have some log to some base and it's equal to, if we have some log to a base of 2 numbers that are multiplied, we can rewrite that as addition, as log base of that number plus the log base, has to be the same base, of the second number, or something like that. So for instance, the product rule here, this is the addition. Well, we know that we can just multiply these two and write it as one log, given our product rule. So this could be written as log base 2 of 12. I just multiplied 4 times 3. Okay. Next we have the quotient rule. The quotient rule is the same thing, except with instead of multiplication, we're talking about division, and instead of adding, we subtract now. So if we have a log where two things are being divided, then we can express that as 2 logs being subtracted, or vice versa. If we have 2 logs that are being subtracted, we can express that as division. So here, on my quotient rule, I have subtraction here. They have the same base, so we're good. And we can rewrite this as log base 2 of 4 divided by 3. Okay. Next we have a power rule. And the power rule states that if we have some log base to some x to some power, so some number to some power, or some variable to some power, then we can actually pull that power out and multiply it to the log. So what that rule is saying is here we have log base 2 of a cubed. Well, we can pull that 3 out, and it'd be the exact same thing as saying 3 times log base 2 of a. Okay? That's what the power rule says. Next, we have the switch, or the base switch rule, and that is saying that if we wanted to, we could swap B and C here. We could swap our base and whatever our number is, and it would just be the reciprocal of it. So, if I was trying to get something, say, in base 4, because another log that I'm working with is in base 4, well, I could rewrite this as 1 over log base 4 of 2. Okay? Next, we have the base change rule. And that is saying that if we have some log base to some x, well, we can rewrite that as saying log base of some other base, if we're trying to change a base here, that we could rewrite it as log base c of x divided by log base of that same c of b. So it really turns into a division problem with different bases here. Why are these base switch rules important, or how can they be useful? Basically just because, as I said, if we're working with a problem and we have 2 different bases and we want the bases to be same, we can do little tricks here and there to try to get the same bases, and it's much easier to work with. So the change base rule, log base 2 of 8, well, I can rewrite this as log, let's see, I can pick whatever base I want here. That's what's nice about it. I'll just do base 10, so I don't need to write it. It'll just be log of 8 divided by log of 2. And those are equivalent statements. These last 2 are really nice and fun. Log base of 1 and log of base, or log of 1 and log of base. This is saying that log of any base to 1 is equal to 0. And that makes a lot of sense, because remember what this is saying. It says the base to the 0th power equals 1. Well, if you recall, or I'm not sure if you knew this, but anything, no matter what it is, I could say 3 to the 0th power is going to be 1. Anything to the 0th power is always going to be 1. I could say 500 to the 0th power. That's also going to be 1. Okay? So here, the log base of 4, log base of 4 of 1, this is going to be 0. Because 4 to the 0th power gives me 1. And then finally, log of base is saying the same thing, except it's saying that if our base and our number are the same, then it's always going to be equal to 1. And that makes sense, because this is saying what the base to the first power is equal to what? Well, anything to the first power is itself. 3 to the first power is 3. 500 to the first power is just 500. So that's really what this is saying. Anything, any log to a base of itself is equal to 1. So in this case, it would just be 1. So again, with these rules of logs, we aren't doing any real mathematics here. We're not solving for anything. We're not changing anything. These are just important rules to know so that you can make equivalencies and help with your algebra. Okay? So that's all I have for y'all today. Have a good day.